realizing we're just jumping in.
Hello, ghosts. Mommy's here.
Please rock the chair.
I consent.
My mom's gonna kill me.
It literally just said, "Are you gay?"
We're back!
Did you ever kill anyone?
This time, we're going cross country. Do you know where you are?
Mine. I'm not doing this.
To some of Canada's most haunted locations.
Craig Derrick Castle. It's a massive castle.
This hill is Gallows Hill.
We are in Carcross, Yukon at the Caribou Hotel.
This is known in Canada as the Seance House.
Intro the guest.
Hey, I'm Jordan Connor.
Veronica Slaykoska.
Kristen is there.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Priyanka. What's my name?
Hi, my name is Joel.
Percy Hines White.
I'm Billy Gonzalez. I'm Nikki Ramel. Hi. That just happened.
Is someone here?
Myself.
Were you executed? Is this where you died?
Come with us as we go ghosting.
You guys are like the best tour guides ever.
Absolutely, yes. Introduce each other. Okay, you may know Luke Hachi from his hit series Ezra, where he starred as the titular character. Not only did he star in it, but he also wrote and produced it, and it's a project near and dear to our hearts because it's where we met. And from there, Luke has gone on to be the incredible star and co-creator of Ghosting, the series we're here to talk about today. So talented, super attractive, and often mistaken for Megan Fox. So people have a hard time, but lovely still.
And this is Matthew Finlan, not Troye Sivan, although he gets it a lot. He is an incredible actor, most known as playing the hot, crazy brother in Orphan First Kill, the sequel to the infamous movie Orphan from 2009. He also has an incredible movie coming up called Hell of a Summer, released worldwide theatrically. Finn Wolfhard and Billy Britt's theatrical debut, directing April 4th, worldwide release. And he's also the co-creator and star of Ghosting, which is our show that drops season 2, March 21st on CBC March.
Check out Divine Oracle podcast with your hosts Gypsy Lady Eva and Brother Chris as they discuss spiritual topics and current events. Sit back and listen. Podbean, and then with YouTube.
For more Haunting Live real experiences, be sure to follow us on our social, on Instagram, Thread, Facebook, and also Blue Sky. And don't forget to also check us out on our official website, hauntinglivepodcast.com. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on again to Haunting Live for a special episode featuring the new season of Ghosting coming to CBC. For those that maybe didn't see you guys yet or know who you are from the first season, can you just sort of introduce each other and tell us a little bit about what you guys do on the show?
Absolutely. Yes. Introduce each other. Okay. You may know Luke Hachi from his hit series Ezra, where he starred as the titular character. Not only did he star in it, but he also wrote and produced it. And it's a project near and dear to our hearts because it's where we met. And from there, Luke has gone on to be the incredible star and co-creator of Ghosting, the series we're here to talk about today. So talented, super attractive, and often mistaken for Megan Fox. So people have a hard time, but lovely still.
And this is Matthew Finlan, not Troye Sivan, although he gets it a lot. He is an incredible actor, most known as playing the hot, crazy brother in Orphan First Kill, the sequel to the infamous movie Orphan from 2009. He also has an incredible movie coming up called Hell of a Summer, released worldwide theatrically. Finn Wolfhard and Billy Britt's theatrical debut, directing April 4th, worldwide release. And he's also the co-creator and star of Ghosting, which is our show that drops season 2, March 21st on CBC Gem.
Awesome. So
that was perfect. That was so sweet.
That was awesome.
So sweet. I love that. I'm gonna take that soundbite. I'm gonna play it every morning.
You can use it for your own promos on when you guys need some promo stuff.
Exactly.
Well, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking a little bit about the new season, which is coming out very soon. My first question, is this going to be aired on CBC television or is it still on CBC Gem?
It's CBC television. Season 1 was also CBC television. We premiered on Gem first and then it was on linear TV. I believe the same thing is happening this season. However, we are dropping on CBC Gem and YouTube Canada this season at the same time. So all episodes will be available on YouTube on CBC's account come March 21st as well.
Yeah. So there are no excuses not to watch it. You know, it's free. You don't even have to make a CBC Gem account if you don't feel inclined to.
You have no choice but to watch it now. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody has to watch it.
You have to, because there will be a Q&A after you watch it, because you have to answer the questions, right?
Exactly. You have to pass.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about, well, maybe the viewers might not know, how did CBC Ghosting get started? What sort of started the whole series? Just quickly, we touched upon it last time we talked to you, but maybe just briefly go into how it started.
Yeah, we always call the show is sweetly the joke that went too far, but that's because it came out of such a fun moment on a trip that we were on. We were at a premiere in San Francisco, and Luke didn't know that Alcatraz was so close to the shore of San Francisco, and became hell-bent on trying to get there. And so we like ramshackled together this plan to try and get there on this like dinghy that we thought would get close, but in fact, nothing happened what was supposed to. And so by the time we made it back to the shore, we were killing ourselves laughing at how everything went wrong, but it was like really entertaining and we had a great time. And so the thought of people like us going into a space like Alcatraz was so, I don't know, enticing, and we couldn't let it go. And I'll let Luke explain the rest, but it really just went from there and timing was right.
I think also what makes like this show so great is the fact that we have like that celebrity aspect to it in that star system, because although it's like fun for an audience perspective to like, you know, have these people that you might recognize from X, Y, and Z in it, for them, it's kind of like this whole episode that like we try to build around them to hopefully, you know, scare the hell out of them. But it's just a fun way to like, one, you know, promote Canada, two, promote ourselves, three, promote our friends, but also kind of definitely represent the country in a way you haven't seen it before. And especially with season 2 being cross country, we are bringing Canada to your screens. Let me tell you, we go to all corners of the country. I feel like I've seen more of the world in the last year than I've existed. And I think that the show in this season definitely shows you Canada as a Canadian more than any other show has ever done. And that's a statement. You can quote me on that.
Yeah, it's an awesome show that you guys have. And so it has crossed into season 2, which is launching very soon. What was the main thing that bumped you guys into a new season? What do you feel pushed into a new season?
Like, what do you think, like, why we got a second season?
Yeah, what caused the second season to happen, do you think? Was it
maybe it was the devil?
Wait, what did you say?
I said it was the devil, but I didn't know. I was like, maybe we summoned a demon or someone that was like, give it to these boys.
I think what makes this show so unique is the fact that it plays on that paranormal investigation genre, but it plays on like, you know, the unscripted reality TV comedy of it, like The Simple Life or those things. And you have the element of celebrity, and there's an episode for everyone. And I think what makes the show fun is it brings in a different audience that maybe wouldn't typically always go to CBC, but it allows, you know, people to kind of just watch people have fun. And I think people just relate to it's the same way reason why you watch someone vlog or a YouTube video or paranormal investigations on YouTube or whatever it is. It's you kind of just want to experience things as if you're there with them. And I think what the show does is make you feel familiar with us, even though you don't know us, but it's hopefully fun to watch and feel like you kind of want to go there. But I think that's.
And in terms of like a second season, I would say it is a palate cleanse for CBC. It's a complete divergent from anything they've ever done. So it does still serve, you know, an audience that perhaps wasn't being tapped into before. And we're thrilled to have a second season because it's allowed us to sort of expand the show in directions that we always wanted it to go. It's really hard with a season 1 to make everything work. You know, we had so many bells and whistles and ideas. So to get another kick at the can allowed us to go, okay, what worked? What could we do even better in every aspect? You know, it was the fact that we had a successful season let us get into some awesome locations, because first season was us convincing these places that our show was even real, that we were like a thing. And they were like, I can't Google it. And we were like, I know it's going to be announced soon. But yeah, season 2, a lot of doors opened for us, and we're so excited for audiences to check it out because it's closer to the vision I think we'd always wanted it to be. But yeah, the show just keeps getting better.
So then what differences are you putting into the new season that you didn't have in season 1 that you're most looking forward to?
Most looking forward to.
What I'll say is obviously the cross country of it all, but I think season 2 is a lot scarier. Everything has been up to be darker, spookier, sexier. Everything has just been very elevated. We kind of show you more of the space than we did in season 1. And you're also the main thing that we didn't do in season 1, which was a flop of an opportunity, is the guest stars don't know where they're going. They never did until they show up there. And so that part was never really shown in season 1. And season 2, being able to see their reactions of where they went. Like, for example, Veronica Slajkowska, we brought her to Bell Island, Newfoundland, to the mines, the haunted mines of mines. So we went 400 meters underground into the earth. But she got on a plane, got on a boat, drove hours to a remote island in the middle of nowhere in the ocean, had no idea where she was going. And then we brought her into the, and you just see the panic on her face, being like, if I had known this is where I was going, I wouldn't have come. And it's so funny to watch them be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And so I think that element helps with the whole, the audience is in on it because Veronica doesn't even know where she's going. And so from watching, you're kind of seeing all of us react on the first time, but that element of surprise for them, I think really helps elevate their stakes in the episode, but also is just really fun.
If you're able to, can you sort of describe some of the places that you did get to go to this time, since it is all across Canada?
Yeah. Should we just do the whole list? What do you think? Yeah.
I would do like the province.
Okay, the different ones. Okay, we'll hit the things. Okay, so one of the ones I am so excited about. Sorry to steal this from you, Luke. I just freaking love it. We got to go to the Yukon this year. When Luke and I were looking at a second season, we were like, come hell or high water, we will get to the Yukon no matter what. And so yeah, we got to investigate. It's called the Caribou Hotel, which was moved there during the Klondike Gold Rush. Everybody who came there, looking for their fortune had to stay in this hotel, and it has had quite a history. The owners were so lovely, let us investigate. That was such an epic location. Where else, Luke?
We went to Lunenburg in Nova Scotia, to Lunenburg Academy, which is one of the oldest high schools still standing in the country. And Lunenburg is one of the earliest settlements in Canadian history. And it literally, Charles Addams, who made the Addams Family, literally Margaret Atwood, who made The Handmaid's Tale, literally wrote like a thing about this place and described it as something out of a Charles Addams nightmare. It looks like an evil, like medieval castle, and it's surrounded by the Gallows Hill Cemetery, because where the school was prior to was Gallows Hill of Lunenburg. And it was just so insane. It's so scary. 1 million people were hung there. And that episode, it's the high school of it all. So we brought Nikki Ramel from Ginny and Georgia, because teen drama hangings, it's all, historically the same. But it was so insane. And then we went to Bell Island, and then we went to British Columbia to Craig Derrick Castle in Victoria, BC, which is one of the oldest still standing estates in the history of Canada to this day.
It's like if you Google Haunted Castle, Craig Derrick Castle is going to come up right there. It's Craig Derrick and it's Hatley Castle. And we were basically tossing a coin to see where to go. And it turns out their history is related because it's the same family. And so we ultimately decided to go back to where the story originated rather than start at a different chapter. But the Craig Derrick Castle is incredible. I don't know if we have any listeners right now on Vancouver Island, but it's insane. Like, it's had 4 different stories, like 7 different staircases. The ghosts in that house were so active. Like, the other thing I'll say, this is a bit of a side tangent, but some of the evidence we collect this season is really cool. I'm being the believer myself. And I think in part that's because of the locations we got to access, because we're going to such energetically charged spaces that are the top tier of these provinces. Yeah.
And then we also jumped into Kawartha Settlers Village, which is a pioneer museum or pioneer village, with Kristen Nazaire from Hell of a Summer with Matthew. We went to Fort Henry in Kingston, Ontario with Jordan Connor from Riverdale. And then we went to Fulford Place, otherwise known as the Seance House, with Umberly Gonzalez in Brockville, Ontario. So we cover, the occult, we cover war, we cover Victorian high school, we cover the gold rush, we cover royal families of Canada with every episode storyline is so different from each other and season one. Like we do not repeat anything, and I think you are really getting an elevated version of this show this season.
Yeah, Canada is so vast and it offers such a variety of histories, and like the stories are endless, and funny enough, they're ultimately kind of connected too. There's a lot of like threads that you can tie through the country, which is really cool. And if there's another season of this show, or if another show that exists like it, it's just really cool to get to.
We also went to a Freemason chapel with Priyanka.
Yes. Oh my God.
Tuckett
Mansion.
That was insane.
Literally insane. Yeah. In Hamilton of all places too. There are gems close to home. We're both Toronto based. So it was really fascinating to be like, there's this place we've never heard of that's right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Freemasonry stuff down that area, so that's pretty cool. I was going to say, you're talking about the castle out in Vancouver there. We might have a chance to actually go out there this year, so that might be one of those places that we get to go to also. So
you absolutely should check it out. It's incredible.
It's insane.
So how was it traveling for you guys? Did you manage to get all of your traveling done in 1 year? Was it hard to get around to different places and booking all of them, or how was the actual travel part of it for you?
I loved it.
It was fun. Yeah, it was. We only had one hiccup due to a hurricane when we were trying to return home, but luckily it didn't delay anything for us, and we got to spend an extra night in Halifax. So it was really lovely to get to see the city.
I think even with the traveling and with the show, like the fact, although it was kind of like being on tour, like we were kind of hitting a city and moving, so we didn't spend too much time anywhere, but we kind of made sure that while we were there to like force our way into everything while we were there. But being able to represent the country in the show and then actually see it and like meet people there, and like I don't know, it was so fun because all of these places are so different from one another. But I loved it. I loved the traveling. I feel like I really got to see Canada. I found out that my great uncle died on the Titanic. And there was just a lot of things.
While we were in Lunenburg and Halifax, that has the cemetery where Luke's uncle is buried, of all places. It's not just like, oh, I found out a random fact. It's like, no, Luke found out in proximity to the cemetery where he could go and prove it. It was just wild.
How was that experience for you, Luke? Did you get to understand some more of your background then? Actually, did that kind of surprise you? Doing this show, you're going to find out more about your own family?
It didn't surprise me because that makes sense to me. There's something about me in my life that me being related to a Titanic, I don't know if the right victim is probably not the right word, but someone who passed away on the Titanic, something about that lore just makes sense to me. I can't explain it, but it was great. I'm so, we talked about it in the episode a little bit, but I'm so grateful that we got to like see Canada, and even like with the Nova Scotia of it all, or whatever. I really feel like that episode is a representation of what it was like traveling, because it was just so much fun. And I think you see that it was like being on tour, but you're on tour with all of your friends. Like was just so fun.
What type of evidence then would you like to talk about that you guys captured that's really scary in this season that people can check out?
Okay, well, I don't want to give any of it away, because I do think audiences should go check it out for themselves, make their own opinions, discern for themselves. But I will say, I would say we capture what could be classified as a shadow figure, possibly. I would say that is something that does happen. I won't say which episode again, but that one of the things that's really cool this year, we expanded our toolkit a bit. And so we used some new tools, one of which is the Ovulus 5, that just allows for some like more kind of like direct conversational style communication with energy and ghosts. And so that evidence, audiences can decide for themselves. I obviously believe that we had some really cool conversations with some spirits we were speaking to. I don't know. Luke's always like jury's out on the evidence, so I don't know if there's any evidence
I think,
like
yeah, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give too much away, but I will say me and Matthew were pushed in many directions this season, and maybe in directions that people won't see coming. But I think there's so much that happens that at some point both of us kind of have to look at ourselves in the mirror essentially and be like, okay. And I think that journey is really fun because you kind of get to see a different side of both.
Yeah, it's like I almost like I am still a believer, always a believer, maybe more a believer than the day I started, but my barometer for belief is starting to expand a bit. You know what I mean? Like the bar. Yeah.
What I will say is we got attacked by a bat. That's in the episode.
No rabies were contracted in this season, but it was scary.
Yeah.
Didn't something like that happen in the first season too? I think somebody saw
Yes.
bats
Oh my
or
God, the fact that you
something.
remember. We at Ockmar Manor, we had a bat problem, but this season at the Seance house with Umberly Gonzalez, we had a bit of a bat situation. And it's very funny when you watch it now because we all go on the floor and start screaming. But
I don't think we're all screaming. I
on
would
the floor. But it's so funny. But yeah, there's a lot of bats in old places. At one point, the people who worked there just gave us the nets because they were like, they're here. Like, we don't know what to do about it. And so we're walking around with like the bat nets, just trying to like get through. It was so funny.
so funny. But I'm really proud to say this. We're the first televised investigation ever to be in Fulford Place. And we're among one of the first investigations, period. It was a location we tried to get season 1, but rightfully so. They were a little apprehensive about us, but I think we've earned our stripes. Like even how we ghost hunt, it's still, up to par with all the other teams. We still use the same tools. So we were really excited to get to be the first team in there at all. And so it makes sense that the bats were there because they're just not used to people being in their space late at night. They're like, well, what is this? And so, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those types of locations, especially like you say, if you're in there at a different time, then they're not used to humans being around. So they're like, what's going on? So
exactly.
Attack you. So you kind of did this before we went on, but can you talk a little bit about the guest stars coming on this season?
Yeah, we have done it again. No, we have a great cast lineup this season. We have Percy Hines White from Wednesday, Kristen Zare from Hell of a Summer with Matthew, Joelette from Trickster, Veronica Slikoska from What We Do in the Shadows, and she's just a hilarious comedian. We have Jordan Connor from Riverdale. We have Nikki Ramel from Ginny and Georgia, Umberly Gonzalez from Tarot, Priyanka, what's her name?
Priyanka.
Canada's Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm missing people.
Are you?
I think so.
Are you? Priyanka, we have
Jordan Connor.
Joel. Did you say Joel? Then Veronica.
I'll be in the press release, but we have a great of cast. Like I'm so grateful for everyone that did this show, but we have such a great lineup this season. And I think all of them have such different personalities, which makes it even more fun.
And similar to the locations, because there's a season available for the guests to watch. They knew a little bit what they were in for, which almost made the challenge a bit more for Luke and I to kind of raise the stakes. But it was really exciting. And it also, for those that said yes, we didn't have to convince them of much. It mostly was them making the ground rules of what they are, like what they won't do, what they're afraid of. They're like, okay, you can't mess with me too hard. But those, I think, sometimes make for the best guests. But like, as Luke said, every guest brings something special.
And we really tried to up the stakes. And I can't tell you what happens, but what I can tell you is we bring a Dybbuk box. Well, I'm sorry, I bring a Dybbuk box because
I was going to say, yeah,
fun. And we really push the limits this season of things we can do to create television while ghost hunting. And again, so many ways that they happen, but we really elevated this season with everything you can imagine. And the guests loved it. They weren't screaming or crying or mad at me at all.
Oh, did we get to see someone be mad at you this time?
Yes. You'll see a lot of things this time, that's for sure. No one's the same. No one has the same reaction. Sorry to Krista in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, at least they are a bit prepared this season and can look back on the last season and see what it was all about and be a little prepared for what you might put them through this season. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely we definitely upped the stakes this season, but they were it's just fun. It's just I love watching people squirm.
Yeah, the hardest part I think for a lot of our guests that they don't realize is they're like, wait, we actually shoot overnight? We're like, yeah, we're going until like 5 a.m. some nights, hopefully earlier, but like, yeah, you really do shoot overnight. And so it's like, okay, let's go. Let's drink some Red Bull.
Oh, yeah, you don't realize that it goes all night. You got to investigate the whole time you're doing it because with paranormal, you never know when you're going to capture something, right? It's not just when the camera's rolling. Hopefully, it's when the camera's rolling, but you got to be prepared
Yeah.
at any time. So, yeah.
It's so funny because our crew gets into a rhythm, by the time we're halfway through the season and we're kind of like welcoming somebody on. And it's like to see who has the stamina, who doesn't. I will say all of our guests really do keep up with us. And I don't know if it's the adrenaline, I don't know if it's the ghosts, but everybody seems to be able to do it. It's me who normally gets tired. Once we get to like investigation 8 that we've been doing week after week, it's like, whew, okay. I don't know if I'm better at this or if I'm like more tired.
That's all the travel time. You get to between in between locations, and then you got to set up. You got to take it down. You got to move over to the next one. And, oh yeah, I've been through that as well. So
It was so fun though with the cross country part though. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. It was so it was just seeing Canada and how big it is and all of it was just so exciting.
did you
That
ever
was so
think? Did
cool.
you ever think it would get this big that you guys would actually get to travel like that? Did you, or were you
Yes,
kind of
I did.
expecting that? Yeah, I think Luke was trying to make it grow bigger like that.
Luke
Yeah.
was trying to make it happen. I didn't know if it was going to. We had, at some point we had wondered if maybe the season 2 would just take place in one other separate province. We were looking at British Columbia as a whole to kind of be like, okay, could we do it at the West Coast and then, or could we split it West and East? Like, how do we do it? And then to be able to do 4 separate, we hit 5 provinces this season, which is really cool. And we don't double any location. So it's like a house, a castle, a mine, a hotel. It's like it really is a iconic location for every city that we're in, which is just so cool. And yet crossing
Well,
the country is amazing. Yeah.
I also think even too what I think ghosting does well, and I think this is also to CBC as well, and and what I want to say was, I think when people think of Canada, and maybe it's not for Canadians, but there's a really specific idea of what that looks like. And I think that that specific idea is probably 20% of the country. And I think you don't realize there's really hot people in the Yukon. There's really hot people in Newfoundland. It's huge. There's mountains everywhere. People are funny there. People are there. And it's like what the success of what this show does is it's kind of almost like the rebrand of what it means to be Canadian, because I feel like we're showing you what Canada looks like today. These are, celebrities from things that you definitely know, and they're in these places of Canada that you may not know, but we are basically showing you how fun it is and how big this country is in a way that I think is entertaining, fun, relatable, and new. And I think that alone with this show is so fresh. And I think CBC knows how to support Canadian talent and wants to support Canadian talent and support Canada in a way that they haven't been able to do yet. And I'm just so grateful with them. But no, it doesn't shock me. I think that the show is a staple in Canadian representation, and I'm so grateful that we get to make it
Well,
with CBC as well. They've been great.
yeah, yeah. I think their content is directly to Canadians, so I think your show fits that just perfectly. So I'm happy for you guys that you get to travel and see the country as well. So that's amazing. So I know you guys at the end of the series, after every episode, you do a little thing between each other that is it haunted or is it not haunted? So do you guys want to kind of go with maybe 1 or 2 locations and do a little back and forth on that?
Like the ghosting verdict
Of our paranormal investigation.
into blank.
Yeah, where should we choose? Where should we choose? What do you think? I'll choose one and you choose one.
The only one that I, for some reason, remember is Kevin and Devin's episode. I don't know why.
Okay, I have a different one in my brain.
What's yours?
SDG jail.
Okay, we can try. I don't know if I'm gonna remember it, but we can try.
Okay.
Okay.
The ghosting verdict.
Of our paranormal investigation
Into the SDG jail.
is No.
Obviously haunted.
I actually don't remember what I said.
That episode, that's the one where Frankie is talking to the judge. It's haunted.
I'm realizing we're just jumping in.
Hello, ghosts. Mummy's here.
Please rock the chair.
I consent.
My mom's gonna kill me.
It literally just said, "Are you gay?"
We're back!
Did you ever kill anyone?
This time, we're going cross country.
Do you know where you are?
A mine. I'm not doing this.
To some of Canada's most haunted locations.
Craig Derrick Castle. It's a massive castle.
This hill is Gallows Hill. We are in Carcross, Yukon at the Caribou Hotel.
This is known in Canada as the Seance House.
Intro the guest.
Hey, I'm Jordan Connor.
Veronica Slaykoska. Kristen is there.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Priyanka. What's my name?
Hi, my name is Yolanta.
Percy Hines White.
I'm Billy Gonzalez. I'm Nikki Ramel. Hi. That just happened.
Is someone here?
Myself.
Were you executed? Is this where you died?
Come with us as we go ghosting.
You guys are like the best tour guides ever.